The Brooklyn Nets are riding a season-high 6-game winning streak, and they've won 10 out of their last 11, and that's heading into tonight's matchup against the Warriors. Robin Lundberg is a co-host of the Talkin Nets podcast, and he's here joining us now to talk about hashtag the Brooklyn Way. Robin, I mean, 6 in a row, there's a lot you guys are talking about on the podcast. I can't remember basketball being this good out of Brooklyn. So why or how are the Nets so hot right now?
Well, first of all, it's nice to be talking about something other than drama.
Drama.
But, the credit has to go to Jacques Vaughn, first of all, I think, because he's the change, right? And when Steve Nash was fired or whatever happened there, you wondered how much could actually be the coaching. Well, you got to give Jacques Vaughn a lot of credit for his mindset, and he does tangible things too. Like he calls timeouts when the other team goes on a run. He's made good lineup decisions. You see Patty Mills right there. Well, he's not playing. Seth Curry isn't playing much either. Cam Thomas isn't playing much, so the team is not as small as it once was in the backcourt. And then, of course, it starts at the top with the top players. Kevin Durant has been excellent, and I think, over the course of his trade requests and all the nonsense, there's an enhanced appreciation for the fact that he plays for the team. One of the greatest players of all time, wherever you want to put him on the list, he's on the list somewhere. He plays for the team. He's been excellent. Since Kyrie came back from the suspension, he's played within the flow of the team, and we all know what he's capable of ability-wise. And then they got a pretty deep roster. They're getting contributions from guys you might not have expected, like Yuta Watanabe. Ben Simmons is going in the right direction. Nick Claxton has taken a step forward this season. So I think when you combine all those things, you get what you got right now out on the floor.
All right, let's put your coaching hat on. You're Jacques Vaughn. What are you telling your team? What do you guys need to get better at to keep that momentum going?
Yeah, I think there's two areas. One is turnovers, and two is second chance points. The next are actually very good, both offensively and defensively. I think they may be, I'd have to fact check this, but it's close to correct if it's not exactly correct. They're the only team in the NBA, I think, that's in the top 6 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. So they're actually doing very well on both ends. Their problem comes when they allow a bunch of second chance points to the other team, a lot of offensive rebounds. And then on the other end, when they turn the ball over in transition and don't get a bucket, because, it doesn't matter how good you are offensively and defensively if the other team is getting a bunch more shots than you are. And that's been, I think, the biggest problem. So if they can, be close to even on the glass and securing the defensive rebounds, and if they can cut down the turnovers a little bit, I think that takes them, even a step higher.
All right, keep your coaching hat on. I'll be the media guy. When I ask you, or I tell you, 10 of Brooklyn's next 14 games come against teams that are either competing for a playoff spot or even a championship. Obviously, Coach, you want to win them all, but what do you need to see from this team during this stretch to say to yourself, you know what, we've got something here?
They need a couple signature wins. I mean, it doesn't actually mean anything, but I would say good that they're playing those teams, because at the beginning of the season, it looked like it could spiral out of control, right? And the whole thing was going to have to get blown up. Then they've righted the ship. They've won a bunch of games, not just in a row, but, over the course of the last couple of months. The next step is to prove you're contenders, because I think the Nets have proven their quality. Now they have to prove they're contenders again, because you don't want to get the problem with the Nets has been they've been the greatest hypothetical team of all time, right? Like, if they're all healthy, if the scary hours works and blah, 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 but they haven't accomplished anything. So that makes you more hesitant to then just go ahead and say this is a title contender, because they haven't actually been that over the last couple of years. However, if they're beating all the teams they should beat, and then they go out and beat, let's say, Milwaukee on Friday, I think it's fair to then start reconsidering them as one of the teams that can actually win the championship at the end of the year, because they've got the top-end talent. You can't question that. They've got the depth. Seems like they've got the coaching. So I think if they can get a couple of those, signature wins that prove they're on the level of the Milwaukees and the Bostons and whoever else you want to throw out there, then I think they belong in the mix. Because even right now, I can't tell you there's more than 5 teams that I would put ahead of the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, I heard championship. My eyes lit up just now. You saying Brooklyn Nets and championship together. I mean, it's what a time for New York sports right now. Robin, thanks for joining us. Make sure you guys check out the Talkin Nets podcast, and we got to have you on again sometime throughout the season.
Yeah, no doubt. They got to prove it. Don't get me wrong. They got to prove it. But, there's potential.